Like F5 key. No, it doesn't even say F5 anymore.
I wish I was playing 10 years ago because I'm pretty sure I would have got some 10k finish.
Mind your business.
A certain Egyptian king is being ignored.
Say Maximin.
Oh my goodness. Welcome to Only One Bonus Point, a light take on a deep game. We are your hosts. My name's Law.
My name's RJ.
And my name is Ray.
How are we doing, fellas? We good?
No.
Oh, let's start it off then. Let's start it off. What's going on? What's happening?
Bro, United fans keep bugging me.
Mm-hmm.
Building drafts is stressful.
Yep.
Yeah, there's so much time.
I'll agree to that.
And I have made like 9 drafts since our last episode.
Yeah, I hate that we recorded our last episode because I was free. My mind was free of it.
Yeah, since we got back in.
And then, now I've made quite a few drafts since.
Yeah. I guarantee the draft I put up, I'm not going to like it.
Yeah, same. I already know. I already know. How are you? Are you in a better mood?
Yeah, I'm great. I mean, complete opposite of RJ. I think I spent so long building a draft and the foundations that now I'm kind of like just taking a step back, 1 or 2 here and there. We'll get into it, but obviously we were waiting for the signing of a goalkeeper. And now that he's obviously been signed and priced, it's made it a bit easier to fill into our team. But yeah, I'm great. I'm actually looking forward to the season starting now. Like, I'm actually ready for the season to start proper. So, yeah.
I miss football.
Yeah.
I
Tremendously.
miss football so much, man. I can't wait.
I'm out here watching training videos. So just bring football back, please.
He's gonna love it.
Yeah. I love training. But the preseason,
the Thailand league.
watching a couple of preseason games. Like, obviously the US has taken over, but I'm liking it. I'm liking the potential of different things happening, the potential of different tactics and teams and players who's going to start. And I'm
looking forward to seeing how the season shapes up, man, because there just seems to be so many strong outfits.
All I'm going to say is, Lord, no matter what, Spurs are still going to be dead. Like it's
No, I disagree, but we can get into that.
Is it? Is it? You confident?
Yeah, I'm feeling confident. Definitely, we're definitely going to see a different Spurs. I mean, how well we'll do in the league, I don't know, but it's going to be very different to what we've seen over the last few years.
It's the hope that kills you.
I can't wait for the adding of goals scored and conceded for Spurs. I think it's going to be
crazy. It's going to be crazy.
120 or something. Like that.
Yeah. It's crazy, silly score. Definitely. Ray, I see Van Basten up there on that wall today.
Yes,
What a shirt.
I think every week we do this. I'm just gonna go. Yeah. Classic Holland shirt, and of course, the GOAT Messi here. So yeah, every week I want to just pull up some different ones.
I was expecting to see Inter Miami up there, but I mean, we'll get there.
It's a bit too soon, maybe.
We'll get there.
At the moment, the cost is extortionate. So I'll wait.
You see his free kick. That's why.
Yeah.
His free kick was so good. I felt like it was staged. It weren't staged, but it was so good that it was
the timing, everything.
Timing,
the scoreline.
Oh my god, he is the GOAT. He really is. Him and Ronaldo have been pushing that mantle for a while.
Yeah,
and he's taking it back. He took it back from the World Cup, but Jesus Christ, man. Anyway, fellas, FPL. What are we saying? Are we ready? What are we getting in today, Lord? What are you saying?
I like how you threw that at me. I wasn't ready for that. So today we're going to get into how we approach the season. So we're going to go into template versus differential, how we approach new players coming into the league. Do we jump on them straight away? Do we give them time? How we make our transfers. Do we do them early? Do we do them late? How important is team value to us? Fixtures versus form, which is always a big topic. Significance of team value, as I've said before. Players to look out for that are under 10%. So we're each going to give one, discuss our reasons why, and then obviously our latest drafts.
I don't like my draft already. There's nothing wrong with it as well. There were actually nothing wrong with it. It could always be better.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's get into this topic, man.
As you introduced it so beautifully, I thought maybe you could kick it off, sir. Template versus
Yeah, man.
differential to start season.
So I think over the years, I've always tried to be template with like 3 or 4 differentials in there. But this year, I think I'm going to aim to be a bit more template, and maybe 1 or 2 differentials is probably what I'm looking at, rather than what I did before. So I'm just a slight switch up in the way I approach the beginning of the season.
I just feel like you're talking a bit of was there.
Oh, yeah?
Always goes template. It's 1 or 2 differentials, so he's mainly a template guy. That's been the difference between me and him. He's normally template. He's normally quite template. And there's nothing wrong with template, because that's what you're supposed to do in the game. You're supposed to go template.
I'd say normally it's 3 or 4. Now I'm going for 1 or 2. So that's my difference, I think.
All right.
But
I agree. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm 100% going on template this season, but I'm not going to start on the template. Template, if you're aiming for certain overall ranks, if you're trying to get to a certain place, after a while, maybe a quarter into the season, halfway through the season, you have to be template. 1 or 2 differentials is the only thing you could do, because if you change it anymore, you're gambling. And the years say it often and often more, it don't work. I mean, you literally have to be on point with those gambles every single week for it to make that much of a difference. And when we're talking about that much of a difference, we're talking about you want to be top 100k, top 50k, top 10k, whatever, that you need to be on point with that, and it can't work. If you want to get to those numbers, you have to be template, because effective ownership, it will kill you.
I think there's a caveat to that, though. I think the caveat is dependent on your position, right? So if you're a quarter way through the season and you're in the 3 millions, and then you start playing template,
you ain't
gonna catch anyone up.
Depending on your rank. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Differentials are all for, let's say,
it's rank gaining. They're rank gainers.
Yeah, rank gaining. If you want to catch a rank, like, do you know what? End of the season was a perfect example. Last season, I wanted to catch you, so I threw in 3 or 4 extra differentials, and I just waited to see what would happen.
Yeah.
If I put in the same players, if I go template, I might get points, but you're going to get the same points. We're all going to get the same points, and the difference is not going to be closed. Ray, what about you?
Yeah, I fully agree. I am very safe to start the season. I think in the first season, I kind of Bruno Fernandes went up to like 12.5 million. And I decided, you know what, I'll try and be smart. And I went with Martial and a defender or something like that. And it cost me.
Is that the season he got a hat trick? I remember that season. There's a season he got a hat trick in the first game.
No. It was the season before.
Oh, right, yeah.
So,
I remember that season. I didn't have him. I remember that.
So, and then the issue you have is that I have to admit myself that you spend time to try and catch up with the template. And whilst you're doing that, you're still missing out points. You might be taking hits. You're
missing out
transfers.
on team value, all sorts. Yeah.
And a couple of renowned content creators last season did the whole Kane Haaland switcheroo, and then another issue happened, and then it probably halfway through the season they were like 500,000 at best.
Yeah.
And then you're just starting to catch up too much. I think the wise way of doing it and the boring way to do it is that it really is template, and maybe 1 or 2 differentials, which I'm sure we'll get to. Yeah.
Because that makes the difference. Because template, it's called template for a reason. It's getting you points. You will get 60 points a week, for example, 60 points, and your differential will take you to 65, 70, 75. 2, even more. But when you think, oh, you know what, I'm going to throw in 3, 4 differentials, all of a sudden, your average points is 45.
Yeah.
And it will take you up to 60, baby. And you're balancing out with the template, guys. It doesn't make sense. And I know, like you said, Ray, it is boring sometimes. Just pick 1 or 2 and make them very exciting 1 or 2 and get gas. Because it's not worth it. Listen, guys, if you want to get these points in your mini leagues, it's not worth it. I've done it. Trust me. That's how, I'm telling you, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Do you know-
The pain
but do you know
is
I
not
think-
worth it. The juice
do you know I think
is not
it
worth
is
the
with you, yeah?
squeeze. No,
Do you know I think
shut
it
up.
is with
Don't,
you?
don't,
I
don't
don't-
start.
No, I'm gonna start. You're not differential with your player picks. You're differential with your captain. You love to switch up your
Yeah.
captain pick.
That's
That's where I think your
100%.
thing comes in.
100%.
Yeah.
But I feel like over the years I've been changing it, so it's more defensive picks, and there's like, oh, I can't keep doing this. So then I just switch
Yeah,
to
you
the captain.
switched it to captain. Yeah, I've got to get that excitement in somehow.
There was a brilliant line that you gave us last season. I mean, we had a litany of great lines last season, but one that you said is that, Ray, guys, I have a plan, then I get angry. Then I just pick another player and I roll with that player and I get more angry and then he flops and then I take him out. You literally said it like that. You gave a whole ladder process of what happens. You plan the whole time, you get pissed.
That was good, Ray. You tried. You tried. It weren't quite there, but I'm gonna get you there. So I will say a player is dominating. I'm like, I see something in that eye test. I'm like, this player is on point. Yotta. Boom. Yotta is sick. Then I get scared. Then I don't put him in my team, and then Yotta bangs a hat trick. And then I get angry. They're like, yep, fuck it. Yotta in. Put Yotta in, and then he blanks. Or he doesn't start. Then I get angry. Did I remove him? Now I'm taking
no matter the cost. No
now I'm
matter the
taking
cost.
a hit. Yeah, now I'm taking a hit. And I bring someone else in because that's what I was supposed to do. And he's not done his job. And yeah. That guys, you have to be level-headed. You have to be. And I mean, I feel like sometimes the podcast it makes it hard to be level-headed. But
I think it makes it harder. I 100% agree that
this
the pod
year
makes it
I
harder.
refuse to. I'm not going to let Twitter or only one bonus point cloud my judgment because I know football. Yeah, we know football. Nah, we know football, and anything else it just clouds the judgment. But also, it's like we have to start looking at the other things. Like I know, guys, you hear this thing all the time: effective ownership. What is that? Effective ownership, Ray? Talk to us. Effective ownership. It's a simple term, but so everyone hears it, and they're like, "What's that?"
Yeah, it's basically the percentage ownership of the individuals around your rank range. So, for example, 0 to 10k will be a certain percentage around you, 1 million to 2 million and stuff like that. So, as we get into the season, the ownership that you see on the FPL website becomes less and less significant. It's more about the effective ownership in a rank range around you.
Right. That's why sometimes you may put Harden as captain and he's got you points, but for some reason you got a red arrow because everyone around you, whether you're 10k, 200k, 300k, has Haaland, and your differentials are the ones that are going to get you the gains.
Exactly.
But you have to follow the effective ownership or you're in trouble.
Yeah, because the opposite way around, like if you don't captain Haaland that game week and everyone else has, that's
You're done.
Yeah, that's a
Reds
painful
all over.
red arrow. Yeah, you're now in a different rank range.
Because I feel like there's different levels of red arrows. Because you got the red arrow where you got like one mini league red arrow, another mini league green arrow, overall rank green arrow. But when everything is red, every mini league, every overall rank, the Arsenal league, the England league, every league is red. That's when you know you've been got. So yeah, my attack to this season is definitely going to be look at the template and one or two.
Yeah,
because the eye test, you're gonna see things in the eye test, and the eye test will give you the one or two players. It's just rather than throwing them all in at once.
Wait for the eye test because you haven't seen them play in the league. You don't know how a team's performing, all that type of thing. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's a wonderful transition to when new players come into the FPL. So every single season we get exciting, signings that pop up. Alexis Sanchez back in the day, and
amazing
Eden Hazard, but then obviously you get your Timo Werners that were about 62% owned. I remember.
I remember.
62% owned when we went into the season. I had him. A lot of us had him. Haaland as well is that, we were still, understandably, we were second guessing. We want to give that game week, that first game. Some owned, some did not.
See, that one got me. I'll be honest, Timo got me. Timo got me.
You're screaming, Timo.
Listen, it's the same thing as Haaland, isn't it? Timo came in and in Bundesliga, he scored so many goals.
He was tearing it.
He
up.
was an horrible striker to play against.
Hmm.
He was in my mind. He was always going to score in the Prem. Haaland, when he came in, everybody knew he's going. Well, I feel like everybody knew he was going to score goals. I put him straight in. I put him straight in. I had no worries. Literally the same way I felt about Timo Werner. But Timo just maybe it's because Chelsea in it. Chelsea love to do this to players, but
especially strikers.
I couldn't believe the downfall.
Whereas when he made that comment when he played against Brighton, you knew like this guy ain't gonna cut it. He ain't gonna cut it. You'd be talking about the height of defenders. Like, come on, man.
Honestly, but the thing is, like, like even now, you know, they're in Nkunku, for example, and Jackson we mentioned last week as well. You know, it isn't dissipating my enthusiasm to bring in these players because I think there's something so fun about selection.
There is.
Do you feel it's changed for you just from past experiences of bringing in new players to the league and putting them in your FPL draft?
No, it hasn't for me. I've only done it with Haaland. Even Haaland, I did the second week. I did the Kane Haaland switcheroo,
and it cost you, didn't it?
Yeah, it cost me.
Yeah.
And I think that was like one of the very few game weeks that Kane actually blanked as well.
Yeah.
Crazy. And we scored 4 goals in that game. Mad. But yeah, so like Haaland was like an exceptional level coming into the Premier League, like the Mbappe level, like the new GOAT sort of level. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think everyone else comes into the league in a category underneath that. So
of course,
I still have that. I want to see them play before I bring them in. I have that same feeling, regardless. I think.
Yeah, I think more times than less, it's always to see how they'll play first. Just because there's very few players that come into the Premier League and hit the ground running. When it happens, I mean, you know,
it's not that it doesn't happen.
You can see
it doesn't happen,
but like Mudryk was a perfect example. Like, forget the Arsenal noise and how he felt, whatever. From the clips we saw of Mudryk, from what we knew of Mudryk, he was going to be electric. His first game at Liverpool, he was electric. But after that, just the dip is just like, we have to wait and see how they're going to adjust. That Jackson, Nicholas Jackson?
Nicholas Jackson, yeah.
Nicholas Jackson. I watched his game. I watched their preseason game against Brighton, and 2 assists and a goal. He looked amazing.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
he looked amazing. I'm annoyed that they put him as a striker. I think he is a striker, but he was
7 million
playing. He was playing like off the strike. He's playing number 10 role, like an attacking mid, like right behind the striker, but behind Nkunku. But
I think they were swapping a lot of the times, didn't it?
He looked good. He looked good, and I don't see Poch benching him. I would love to put him in, but at 7 million is just at that price range where it's slightly too much to just think, oh yeah, he's just a differential, or just like a value saver, saving me value just by putting him in like a 5.5 or a 4 million, or 4.5 million. It's that too much of a commitment for a 7 million striker that's not played in the Prem.
And the other side of it is because he's 7 million, you know you can get to him. So the urgency to bring them in when you haven't seen them play,
it's not high.
I don't think it's not high.
Yeah. And that's the aspect with price points, isn't it? When you build a squad, you actually building price points. You know, in the start of the season, you know, when we're messing around in so many drafts, it's not necessarily the player, it's price. And I think
sorry to say that again. Sorry to cut you off. When you say price points, because first couple episodes, we like to, for our new listeners that don't know, or new people to fantasy football, what do you mean by price points?
Sure. So in each area, if you like, in your squad, you kind of like to have certain prices around players where it's flexible to move around to different assets. So I think this season, specifically in the 7.5 to 8.5 price range in midfield, there are probably 10 to 12 fantastic assets that you could own. So I feel like it's always a good idea to get one of the maybe more expensive guys. Let's say Rashford, for example, at 9 million. And the only 2 players who are more expensive than him this season are KDB and Salah. And it's very easy to move down and hop on to the new hot asset. I'd say the
Exactly.
same in strikers as well, with 8 million and downwards. So at the moment, we're looking at Jesus. And also,
Defenders
I'd say
too.
in defense with Trent specifically, because
We were speaking about that last
he's-
week, right?
Yep, if he's not performing, Chilwell's
Easy.
2.5 million.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyone.
yeah.
Keep
But
anyone.
the thing about price points is you really, this season, what I love about the game is you really can't have them all. You just can't have, for me, a Salah, a Haaland, and a Trent, the three most expensive
Yeah, you can't.
in their
Yeah.
respected positions, and build a great value squad. And I think what's
Yeah.
brilliant is we're reduced to two. And I think that's a really good way to start the season, in my opinion.
I mean, I know there's people out there. I know there's plenty of players. I feel your pain in it. I know we didn't want Haaland at 14 million, but I'm telling you,
I didn't
Haaland at
expect
14 million, Haaland at 14 million is the best thing for the game.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
It really is.
I agree.
He can't be cheap. If he's cheap, it makes the game stupid. He has to be expensive. Haaland has to be 40 million. Salah has to be 12 and a half. Kane needs to be 12 and a half. Trent needs to be 8. Well, Trent, I don't know about Trent. He should be like 7.5 because he didn't start off well. But I get it. Like, they need to make these price points.
My biggest argument for his price not being 14 was that Salah's had better seasons and never reached 14. But then I kind of realized, especially as you were just talking, when Salah was having his best seasons, we were still switching captains.
Yes, we were.
But Haaland, we do not switch. It's just a thing where it's just you don't switch off of Haaland because you know he can have a 5-goal game. Do you know what I mean?
And also, I was talking to someone earlier actually about how Kane had a great season and he scored quite a few goals. Like I can't remember how many goals he was off Haaland, but it weren't many. But in terms of points, Haaland got much more in terms of bonus points as well. But I was like, because Haaland scored like hat tricks and braces quite often. So
Kane
even though they're not
one goal, another game,
yeah,
one goal,
he
another
got over the season. Yeah, it was great. But in terms of actual game weeks, Haaland is just
which is why Haaland will always be the more attractive captain pick, right? Because you can get more than 2 goals in one game, which is bigger points. Yeah.
Plus also City behind him as well. It's not just him. So yeah, man. It's for me. We're talking template versus differential. I'm gonna hold myself to it today. This year, I'm going template. I'm gonna try it.
Brilliant.
What about you two?
Oh, sorry.
State it. First.
Oh yeah, I'm sticking to template.
Sticking to
template.
Template and proven assets to start the season.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
RJ.
Yo.
Martinelli's just banged in a hat-trick against Nottingham Forest. You know the prices are going to go up. And you're thinking, if I want to hop onto him right now, I got to take out another 8 million asset I can't think of right now. And I know that if I don't make that move, I am going to be priced out. In this instance, would you just bite the bullet and go for it? Or would you just think, look, I've missed out right now. Okay. And I'm just going to trust the asset I originally selected.
I'm going to say a phrase that Law taught me probably when we were in our early 20s. The grass is always greener.
Yeah.
The grass is always greener. And if it was just based on a hat trick that he got in one game, I'm not doing it early. Because you got to think of it like this, especially with so many content creators and so much planning that you're putting into your team. You pick these players for a reason. So yes, it might not have paid off in one game week. You didn't build this team based on game week 1 or game week 2. You're looking at least 5 or 6 game weeks before you start making these changes. So it's brilliant that Marley bagged the hat trick. I love Marley. Thank you very much. I'll take the 3 points.
He still lost 4-3.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Why would you say something? Why would you say something?
It's a hypothetical story. I'm just throwing some extra stuff in there.
It's got nothing to do with the fact that it's Arsenal. He just
absolutely nothing.
I just thought I'd throw just some more information out there. Like.
We lost 3 times last season. But that's what he wants to say. I mean, all right, cool. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't help because what will happen then? The likelihood is, yes, Martinelli will be on a high. He will probably score another goal the next game week, but the asset that you take out that blank the first 2 game weeks now is going to get their haul, or they're going to get you the points. And you just messed up your whole team, your whole plan, because you decided to change. Now you've changed one player, your plan is out the window. No matter if the price points are the same, you might have 3 players from the same team, or now you just can't do it, or your formations change. You just can't base it on one game. If it's on the other hand that Martinelli's banged a hat trick, and in the eye test you can see, oh, he's put Martinelli up front now, Jesus is on the wing. That I would understand. Everything's going to Martinelli in the game, because that's how if I make an early transfer, it's not based on just their points. Even though they did well, it's more I can see something different in the game and how we're playing, and that's why I'm going early. Because yes, everyone's jumping on the points, but I see something that, okay, this is going to work out because Martinelli is now the focal point. Because it happened last season where we were down the right to Saka for like the first 10 games or 15 games. All of a sudden, we're down the left to Martinelli, and then Saka was irrelevant. It just depends how a team is playing. I can't make a decision just like that and be like, oh yeah, let's move on. It doesn't happen often. Unless it's like ridiculous, a hat trick, and it's like, don't be silly. Early. Move.
Yeah, I have to say that was a really good answer. I agree with it.
Thank you.
I think just based on the points they got in one game week, then it's not an early move. But as RJ said, if it's a situation where I feel like I've seen something in the way that the team's playing or that particular player's playing that's going to earn them more points than a decision that I made in my original draft, then I might move early based on not being priced out.
Yeah,
but
I think
for most other scenarios, I'm waiting to get as much information as possible. I think COVID has kind of burnt something in me where I now have to wait.
Yeah.
And
I think we should respect how much hard work we put in our initial drafts.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, we spoke about this last season, game week 6 of last season, that we spent so much time building our teams that we should be proud of what we're building because we've done the research and all that kind of stuff. We shouldn't be swayed. And I do
throw it out the window straight away.
I don't make the error as much from last season because you just grow into the game.
You've got to believe in your source.
Exactly. Because if I go for Foden rather than Maddison, it's because and that's a better example than what I was giving, is that I'm doing it because I based it on the research, what I've seen in preseason. So stick to it. Give yourself 3 weeks, for example. Or roll that transfer and then you can kind of start to think about it. If we bounce in and out all the time, all the time, you're wasting transfers, hits and stuff like that. And I think that's why I just do not make early transfers. I will just say, okay, it's just not meant to be. That's literally how I look at it. Because with all those leaks and stuff that we get last minute, how many training injuries do we have? And how many times do we hear he's not on the bus? That's the time you want to use the transfer rather than.
And it's sickening when you've already used it, man.
Exactly.
Let me warn you all now. It's sickening. If you've already, imagine you've already taken a hit as well. If you've already taken a hit, and then you're now getting news on your phone from all your boys in the WhatsApp group.
This game, not only will stab you, it will twist it. Okay.
Yeah, twist it and moves it up.
It's always that one player that you're like, you know what? Let me gamble. Let me do it right now. Let me twist it. Bam. Let me bring him in. Oh, so and so has injured his leg whilst walking towards the restaurant. He put a fork in his leg by mistake. It's like, what? My player. All of a sudden,
the one player of all the players that I gambled on, that's the player that put the fork in his foot. Oh my days.
Yeah. It's mad. And yeah, you're right. COVID is taught us to just wait a bit. Sometimes I might not like. Yes, warm-up injuries don't happen often, but when they do, oh my goodness, there is nothing that I want to snap my laptop more. Jeez, backwards, oh no,
unfixable,
unfixable. No, it's something else, man. And we love this game so much, but it can be so painful. So. What you believe that you're doing, what you think you're going to gain by doing it early, that joy that you would get by being right is not as big as the pain that you get when you're wrong. Or
I think that's
burnt.
I love
when
that.
You're
I love
burnt.
that.
Oh my god.
I love that. I think that's important for me to remember. I might have to like write that down or something.
It really isn't, man. It really isn't. You're basically putting all your chips on one number.
Yeah,
And expecting that one number to come in. And expecting that one number to come in.
With a smile on your face. With a smile on your face as well.
Yeah. Man, I'm more of a sit back, relax, and wait. I'm not leaving it as late as COVID times where you're leaving it to like the last 10, 15 minutes.
Too
but
dangerous.
I'm not doing it where there's 3-4 days to go.
No.
Awesome. Brilliant. Law,
before
fixtures
we
versus form. Oh, go on.
No, go on.
Right, this is a hot topic, which is I bounce back between.
Yeah.
I bounce. I can't land on one. Like during the season, I'm going to talk about someone's great fixtures and how they're worth it, and then in the very next week, I'm going to talk about someone's great form, regardless of their fixtures. Like I just feel like I bounce back constantly, but I think previously I've been more focused on fixtures, and I end up missing out on people who are in form. So I think this season I'm going to try and look at form a little bit more than I normally do.
I like that. I agree with it, but I also do love fixtures. Fixtures, you can't deny it. No matter what year it is, you know the fixtures that are going to work out. Form, you have to catch it.
Yeah,
you have to catch the form. You have to catch the form because sometimes it's like he's never going to score again. He's not going to score again next week. He's not going to score again next week. Yeah, that's you, innit? But fixtures, Man City versus Burnley. Man City versus Luton. I mean, like you kind of know where you go. Because FPL is all about averages. That's what we're playing. We're playing on averages, right? Whereas form, you don't know, man. And
don't know how long it's going to last.
That's based on one player.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not just based on the player doing well. That's on the player being fit. That's also about the player being picked by the manager. That's also on the tactics. The players. There's so much more into form. But form cannot be ignored.
Yeah.
Like, forget the year of Vardy where he scored, what was it, 9 games, 10 games?
11
in a row? 11 games in a row.
Yeah.
I think I caught him after 6.
Yeah,
That's
I think I caught him late as well.
Like, it was like, come on, man. But it was Leicester, and it's like, is he going to score again? Like, sometimes you have to catch that form well. And again, this is where the eye test trumps stats. Because form, you can see it.
It's pure eye test, isn't it? Like Almiron last season, it was only form. It wasn't data. He was scoring goals that he never even tried to shoot.
No one ever expected to score. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Outside the box, outside of his boot, everything. He's just going nuts. Grealish, he's just like, ooh. Yeah, 100%.
Brilliant.
But yeah, man. I definitely think it's a mix.
Yeah.
I feel like the basis, like how we're going template, is kind of like you should go for fixtures, and then keep your eye on form.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Ray, what about
personally, fixtures became king last season. My best game week I can remember in FPL is the season before, the week before my great week. I did a wildcard. I bought in Bowen strictly on fixtures. He had no form going into, in the first 6 or 7 games. I think Ben Rahma was more the guy who was hauling because of penalties and stuff. And I bought in Bowen and I bought in Maddison for Leicester because of fixtures, no great form. And then they get something like 40 points each over the next 2 or 3 game weeks because of the fixture running that they had. And I've realized that I totally agree. I feel form is, it's so obvious what I'm saying, but form is obviously, you see the form with the quality players, the ones who are consistent and do it year in, year out. But if I look at a Bowen, for example, because I use that as an example, the season before last was the first season that he ever really returned with so many goals and so many assists. Same with Harvey Barnes as well, for example. Some of these guys that are not as renowned for hauling just from a footballing aspect, let alone FPL. And that's when I look at the fixtures aspect. I could select a Foden because I think he's an amazing player. I could select a Jota because I think he's an outstanding player, no matter who they're playing, if I'm confident that they're going to start. But if I'm going to go with Harvey Barnes recently at Newcastle, if I'm going to go with Richarlison at Tottenham, who I'm really interested in if Kane does leave, then I have to judge it more with what are the fixtures looking like rather than the actual quality of the player. So I think I seesaw depending on the assets that I'm considering, if that makes sense.
Hey, Law, have you noticed when this guy flipping talks about certain things that he does, his bragging, it's so subtle, but I feel it in my chest. Bruv, when he said he got Bowen for 40 points in 2 game weeks, I was like, huh?
I'm referencing an example, isn't it?
Yeah. Of great times, yeah? Of great moments. All right, Ray. Bro, he does it all the time.
No, that's actually true, because me and you have only talked about things that have gone wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
We've only spoken about things that have gone wrong, not things that have gone right.
Yeah,
that's
Ray does it a lot,
Yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye out for that.
It's so subtle. Guys would be in a boxing match. They get hit by a few jabs. They don't realize what's happening. All of a sudden, they're like, whoa. Why am I dizzy?
Should be shoulder rolling.
Hey, mate. Sometimes you can't get out of the way of a jab. I get it. But yeah, I agree with you, man. I definitely agree. Yeah. It is definitely going to be a fixture thing for me this season. But I am just not going to miss I'm not missing. I'm not going to ignore an Ollie Watkins. You get me?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
I think the perfect example of fixtures versus form.
Small spoiler: one of the guys that I pick for under 10% is based on form.
Oh so,
yeah, man. But yeah, man.
Superb.
Superb.
So I
don't like this topic.
Starting this one. I know. Neither do I. I have never respected it until last season. Ever. I'm like, it'll be fine. I'll be able to find a way. What does team value mean?
All right. Last season, team value, I focused on it. And I did very well with my team value. And can I say that I really noticed the difference? The answer is no. But again,
because there was so much value last season, is that we all could easily save 0.5 to $1 million in our bank.
The price rises from last season on certain players was so humongous that I think everyone had a decent team value.
Yeah.
That's
no, but I feel like I even feel like I got past a lot of people with the team value.
No, yours was much higher than mine. Yeah.
But I just don't forget you, man. But I'm just talking about. I'm just talking about in general. I just didn't see it like. Oh, I knew if I threw a jab, you're gonna throw one back in it. So I just didn't feel it like. I didn't think, now that I've built this team, I can get Haaland and Salah and De Bruyne, for example. Whereas a few years back, I feel like when you had a decent team value, you look at someone's team like, how have they got all these guys? Whereas this last season, I don't think I saw that. Even though it helped, guys get, whatever they needed. But I didn't see a team that was like, I can't afford this person. I can't afford him and him.
But, I mean, it's true because look at the Arsenal assets. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
Martinelli was 6. Odegaard was 6.5, and then the Brighton guys and stuff with Almiron.
There was so many cheap assets in defense as well.
But even now,
Trent until the lot at the end.
And the premiums didn't perform last season, did they?
Yeah, and there's that too
when
as well.
We took out Cancelo and Trent, we had like 4 million spare.
And Salah, like a lot of people didn't have Salah for a good chunk of the season, right until the end. Yeah,
because you didn't need.
But as Ray said as well, there's only 2 players above 9 million in midfield in the game. In the game, there's only 2 players above 9 million. Yeah.
No,
3. Sorry, 3.
Midfield.
Oh yeah, sorry, 4 in the game.
4 in the game, correct?
4 in the game. Yeah.
That's crazy. 4 in the game.
Yeah.
Mad thing.
And one of them might leave, so it could be 3.
Yeah. Do you think he's gonna leave?
I think it would be stupid of us to keep him if he's not signing a contract. That's just the only way I can look at it. He doesn't seem like he's going to sign a contract. So the only option is to sell him.
To me, I mean, I said.
Get ahead of himself.
Hey.
I was loading the file.
No.
I was loading the file. Are we going to break the fourth
Premature
wall?
ejaculation. No one likes it, okay?
Yeah,
No one
Are
likes
we
it.
going to break the fourth wall?
We're breaking.
Breathe,
no one
man.
likes premature ejaculation.
Breathe.
No one.
Breathe. Don't hold your breath.
RJ coming at me like this. Broke fire.
Well, just did it. It's mine as well.
Halfway through a sentence as well.
Innit? Just out of nowhere. Just clicking away. Focus. Yeah.
Innit? I was talking. Thank you very much.
Innit? Man said
Blah blah blah.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
Harry Kane to Bayern. I called it last week. You guys didn't really agree.
I don't
with me,
believe.
but
I still don't.
I think PSG. I think PSG is more likely than Bayern,
Wow. I don't. Think
especially if they sell Mbappe.
Nah, I disagree.
I don't.
I
Think
think he's
he
going.
wants to
If he's going, I think he's going Bayern. But I just don't see him leaving the Premier.
But I don't think Bayern will match what Levy wants, whereas I think PSG will. That's the reason I think he's more likely to go PSG than.
Well, if they're getting 259 million, I mean, why not?
Right.
The owners apparently told Levy that if he doesn't sign a contract, you sell him.
Yeah, see that story there. Yeah, I don't believe it for 1 second.
Really?
We're talking about an 80-year-old man who hasn't made a single decision regarding Spurs has suddenly come out the woodwork and told Levy what to do. That's the most fabricated story I've ever read in my life. That's the most fabricated story I've ever heard in my life. Honestly, it makes no sense. Some 8-year-old guy in the Bahamas that doesn't care about football has told Levy to sell
He
Kane.
can't handle Levy.
On his private island.
He don't give 2 fucks about what's going on at Spurs, I promise you.
Oh, mate. No way. Listen, 259 million bid.
Oh, Mbappe.
700 million.
I don't think he'll do it.
700 million. Is he on crack? He better.
I don't think he'll do it. I don't think he will.
Better. No, you could grab me 10 players and they will never make that in their entire career.
Oh,
Combined. 700 million.
Don't disagree.
Listen, think about it like this here. If he takes that for 1 year, don't forget he's young as well. 1 year, Mbappe could go anywhere and wages will never be an issue for him. He will never think I need a certain amount of wages ever again. I actually think he could do that. 700 million. I think you don't need to deep what that number is. If he takes 700 million for 1 year, he can go anywhere. And wages will never hit. I don't see why he wouldn't. I actually don't see why he wouldn't, because he could literally hop to any club he wants and build anything he could be. He could literally go there and be like, you know what? All right, for example, I'm gonna say it. He can go to Arsenal. I'll bring you something. I'll bring you a league. I'll bring you a Champions League, whatever. And he'll go there, and the wages will always be a stumbling block.
He only wants
this 700 million. Sorry.
He only wants one place, isn't it? That's why he's holding
out. He wants Madrid. He wants Madrid.
Yeah.
I know, but before it was, we thought only Madrid, maybe City, maybe Chelsea could afford his wages. But if he takes 700 million, he's never going to be demanding money anymore. Like, you see, right now when he gets to United, money was never an issue.
I don't know, man. He doesn't strike me as someone who's
million.
He doesn't strike me as someone who's gonna... No, I'm not saying he's going to demand the same wage. That's not what I'm saying.
Way.
But
not even close, though.
His wages will still be difficult for teams to be able to afford.
No, just make him if they make him the top earner, that's all he needs. I think that's
all he needs, but is that all he will go for? I don't see that. I don't see that.
For example, all right, so I can't remember who the highest earner is at Arsenal, but if he took this 700 million deal, came to Arsenal and said, all right, we can't pay you this much. We can't pay you 500k a week, but we're going to give you our top earner. You're on 400. I think he'll take it.
You don't think he'll just go for the highest bidder in that case?
No, I don't. No. This is because by taking this 700 million, he now has the power. He doesn't just go to the highest bidder. I don't think, because when you make 700 million,
that means he just goes where he wants to go, which is wrong with
Yeah. I mean, but it's no longer, they're paying me the most, that's why I'm going there.
Yeah, I think
that control is gone.
I agree. If Arsenal come up with 400k and
Real Madrid
come up with like 300k or 250k, I actually think he'll go to Madrid.
Yeah, okay, I understand that.
But that's also with that 700 million. I mean, whereas if he didn't have that and we offer him 400 and Madrid give him 250, I think he'll come to Arsenal for 400.
I think he'll come to Arsenal as well. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's a perfect example.
But I just don't see him spending a year in the Saudi league. I just don't see him doing it. Maybe
Might not
wrong.
everyone's-
I may be wrong, but
I don't think anyone
Law,
else will
law.
pay the money or can afford
Law,
to.
he's almost
that's the only caveat.
making $1 billion in a year. He's making 13 million a week on this.
I know
deal.
I'm aware of the numbers, but
I wish I
Dunno.
could break it down more and say how much it is a second. But listen, I
That's
don't
next
see
week's pod.
why. I don't see why he wouldn't do it. Like, I know we're digressing, but why wouldn't he take that? For
I guess it all
1 year?
depends in it. It all
1
depends.
year.
If
1
PSG
year.
won't accept
And also-
another offer,
Don't forget, he becomes free next year as well.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Madrid will get him for free.
Oh my god.
Everyone's happy. PSG get 259 million. He gets 700 million, and then Madrid don't have to pay a fee for him. It doesn't make sense to go.
Everyone's happy.
Does,
And can you imagine the amount of exposure and shirt sales and everything from Mbappe in one season?
Sky are putting
That's
in
what the
deal.
only reason
They'll
the Saudi
make
are
double
doing
They'll
it.
make
Yeah.
double on that. They'll make double.
Sky
on that
putting
easily.
it. Hey, listen, Sky putting in the contract for a Saudi league immediately, or BT Sport, whoever gets it first, maybe Prime. Someone's
TNT.
getting that contract.
TNT Sports, yeah.
Sorry, TNT. My bad. All right, cool. Innit? We get there. Someone's going to put the contract in for that league because it's ridiculous now.
Oh yeah. I think they're already
yeah.
going to. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's their aim, innit? That's their aim. They want to be the next
But-
big league,
But
innit?
bringing us back, team value is not my main thing. I don't think. I mean, I'll watch it, but I don't care.
I think
long
I
as I
ignored
can
it
get who I
too
need.
much last season.
I think because we could afford to. We really
Yeah,
could afford to last season. I was never priced out of anyone throughout the season.
Mm. Yeah, I don't think I was either, actually, now that I think about it. Maybe my second wild card, I think there was a team I wanted and I couldn't quite reach it. But I did ignore team value quite a lot first half of the season. Second half, I kind of brought it back up again.
Yeah. Because I think before we get into the next section I think players like the Brighton assets were insane, isn't it? Is that, and because they had all those doubles, we all basically
Yeah,
sank
exactly.
into it.
Yeah.
And it was very straightforward to have Haaland, Salah, and Kane. We
Yeah.
could have all three and still have a great squad.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okie dokie. So, a bit of fun is, it's all easy. Like, we'll go with templates and all these kind of guys. But, where the real skill and big time luck comes in,
Where we
is
make
when you
our
get
money.
those differentials,
Where we
where we
believe
make
that
those
we know better
dollars.
than the system.
Yeah.
We keep saying that we're going to beat the system and fail every single time, but can't help but still want to look at those incredible maverick choices that could make us shoot up the league. So RJ's one
Maverick.
is, for me, the most exciting one, and I'm so happy he selected this guy. So, RJ,
Morris.
you went with Mr. Morris from Luton. Please.
Yeah. So for the benefit of the guys listening on the pod, he joined Luton last season, his first season with Luton in the Championship. 20 goals in 44 appearances, 41 starts, his first season. Now, I've seen him play. I watched a few games, watched a few clips. I didn't watch most of him last season, but I started to watch a few clips of him. And he's their go-to guy. He's their all in all out number 9. I think the most exciting thing I think about for me was if you have a look at his headed goals, his left foot, and his right foot. 6 goals by header, 6 goals by left foot, 8 goals by right foot. If I was to ask you what footed is he, from those stats, you can't tell me what foot he is. He's right footed. But he's not afraid to take the quick shot with his left foot. And he always seems to be in the box. He always seems to be making problems for defenders. He's about, I think he's like 6'1", 6 foot. So he's not small and he's a big guy as well. So he's quite physical. So in that sense, coming to the Prem, I don't think he's going to have a problem. And then the other stat that I love, of his 20 goals, 1 penalty. Just 1. And I just feel like with him, he gives me that formidable striker from the Championship, moving up a level like Tony and Ollie Watkins. And I feel like he's going to get slept on. He's 5.5 million, and if you need to save money up front to lower your, you don't want a 6.5 million defend striker. No one wants that. But if you want one that scores goals. And I feel like whether Luton are getting battered or not, he's going to show up and score a goal. And yeah, I like what he's doing. I mean, his shots on target 49%, successful dribbles 58%, accurate passes 65%, 7 assists.
Yeah.
And I keep saying, every time I look at his stats, I see something more I like. Big chances missed. In 44 games, he missed 7 big chances. 7. So if he getting a chance, he's either hitting the target or he's getting a goal. So yeah, I do like Carlton Morris. Is it Carlton? Clayton? What's his first name? Morris, isn't it? I know it begins with C.
I thought it was Clinton. I want to say Clinton, but
It's
might be wrong.
not Clinton. Definitely not Clinton. It's not Clinton.
Everyone looks out looking at their phones.
Yeah, you can tell everyone's looking away from the screen.
Carlton Morris. Yeah, I just know that I feel like he's gonna get a few points, and rightly so. Draft Hound. The stats on here, his expected goals aren't great. And we're not bringing him in to score us a goal every week. But when you're not too sure about your starting 11 and you need that extra differential for a certain fixture, that works. Or if he's on great form, you can easily slide him in. And you could always get him in if you don't have, an option. Like you want to get differential and your value, like, let me get a 5.5 million. He's an enabler. He's a great enabler. So for me, 2.4% owned at the moment. He scores a couple goals. I mean, why not? I mean, you look at his first 3 games. The second game week they blank, but the first game is Brighton, the third game is Chelsea. Not the best, but as a 5.5 million, it's not going to mess up your squad too much. So I really do like Morris as an option.
You don't mind benching him. You don't mind benching him.
I don't mind benching him either. 5.5 million. Why would I mind?
And the thing is, he's most likely one of the main 2/3 attacking forces in that team as well. And when I look at Brighton and Chelsea, I'm not that impressed with them defensively in regards to conceding opportunities. So
yeah,
I have no issue with that at all. The one thing is that if he doesn't perform, where do you go? In one move? And I guess that's where the likes of João Pedro is someone that you could go to, or Ferguson. But as we know, there's 13 attackers at Brighton.
In that Brighton team, 6
positions.
It's crazy.
But then also, having said that, where I like him is a lot of people are going 2 strikers, Jesus and Haaland, and they've gone 4.5 million for their third striker.
So he'd be a third striker in what you're thinking. Oh, okay, yeah, completely different then.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so I mean, if you were to just, you know what, it's not working, let me just get as much value, go to a 4.5 and then put it somewhere else, fair, you can do that. Because that's what most people are doing. The most drafts I've seen is Haaland, Jesus, or Haaland and I've seen a couple in Cuckoos, which I'm not too sure of right now. And
Darwin.
Darwin. So yeah, I mean, yeah, man, I like that one. I thought it's not a bait one. It's not obvious. Not many people know about him.
Me too.
Yeah,
I think that's why I like this, because I didn't know anything about him before this pod either. So yeah, it was a really good show,
bro. Look at that: 6 headers, 6 left foot, 8 right foot. What's that? Huh? What?
Is he the penalty taker?
Yeah.
Wow.
But they didn't get many penalties.
Of course.
Yeah. No, I was surprised though. I thought Championship's quite physical, isn't it? So I thought there would have been more penalties in general, but
probably why there isn't.
They're probably more lenient.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But he's their number 9.
And they don't have VAR either.
Yeah. And he plays like a number 9. He's their number 9 and he plays. It's not like, no shade, Jesus doesn't play like a number 9. This guy plays like a number 9. He's always in the right spot. And his runs in behind the defense are very good. He's not like got lightning pace, but his positioning and movement
And timing,
is
yeah.
good. Yeah. Let's keep a lookout for him. That's all I'm saying.
That's brilliant, RJ. That's really good. Really good. As a third forward that you're happy to bench and then play and then bench and then play. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He could be in your team all season, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I know he's going to play
Relaxed.
at least 35 games.
Yeah.
Without injury.
Yeah. And then people are going to be clamoring onto him when Luton have that double game week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But he's a unit, man. He's not getting injured. Touch wood. he's a unit.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. Only one bonus point. Minute 55. Fantastic. So you mentioned a player, and I think all of us had some experience with Mr. Darwin Núñez. Chaos Machine is something that I said a lot last season, and I think he's the new number 9 now after Firmino left. I definitely feel he is going to be part of that first team. And I think Jurgen has just accepted the frustrations he brings. But one thing he does brilliantly is he presses brilliantly from the front. Like, I'm talking Mane, Salah, Firmino levels when they were at their peak. I don't think Salah's as good as it now, just because of the fact that probably in age. Yeah, he is against us last season at the Emirates. Of course, RJ, season ticket and all, but I was at the game as well.
Are you going to say that every week? I just want to check. You can say that every week.
You just let everyone know, innit?
I think it's great that you're a season ticket holder. It's great. Huh? I don't know why you're throwing shade on a compliment. I don't understand this.
Why is that a compliment? It's not a compliment.
It's a compliment that you go there every week. Brilliant.
Right, talk about Darwin.
So anyway, when I watched Darwin, I think he just does it for the sake of doing it. RJ, he doesn't even think.
It just comes in randomly. It's just like, oh yeah, I see him against Arsenal. Oh yeah, RJ, yeah, season ticket holder. What's that?
So when he played against Arsenal,
alone.
No, because I was going to transition it to yourself as well. Is that I noticed, especially in the first half, Darwin was just, we had no time to breathe at the back at times. You know.
Oh, you mean when he did that nonsense?
Yeah, no, but more of how much he was pressing us at the back.
Yeah, okay.
And didn't give us any time to breathe. And I think that's what Darwin brings over Jota. Even though Jota's the better finisher, I think we could admit that. Is what Darwin does is he creates so much chaos at the back that, with those mistakes with the likes of Salah and then Diaz, I think Diaz will be nailed in the team.
I agree with you, but I could see that from Liverpool as well.
I think Darwin's going to be the defunct number 9. And I'm not just trying to paint my own narrative here. Watching him pre-season as well, he started pretty much every single game. I think they played today, and he got a couple of goals and an assist as well.
Oh,
from 45 minutes.
Yeah,
and at 7.5 million, and a way to get into that Liverpool attack, which eventually people are going to want to
somehow, some way.
I think Darwin Núñez is a great shout.
Yeah,
what do you guys think?
I agree.
Numbers look good as well.
I think that he becomes their starting number 9.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people are counting on Jota, but I see Klopp using Jota as a rotational figure more than the figurehead of his attack.
Same with Gakpo as well.
The thing about Darwin, what we can't knock is chances created.
Oh my God.
He might miss a lot of easy things, but he seems to always be there. He seems to be always in the right place or taking the right shots. Not the right shots, but taking shots.
It's that thing that you love of a number 9. He's just so selfish. If there's an opening, he's going to take that shot. Yeah, he's going to.
I mean, first season at Liverpool, you can't really kill someone for their first season in the Premier League, especially. So normally their second season will tell you a lot about that player. And yeah, Ray, I see it. I get it. I get it a lot. And 7.5 million, that makes it a very nice second striker. So
he's so wasteful, though. Yeah. It's
hard to own him because especially if you're watching the game.
You just have to accept it. And last season he was missing some absolute clangers. And I think a great comparison of Darwin versus Jesus is Jesus does a lot of floating during the game. You'll find him on the left that you mentioned earlier, RJ, and then Martinelli floating into the middle and becoming more of the focal point for opportunities in the box. Darwin, when he's asked to, he just stays in the box. He is just like, I'm going to be the guy over there making those runs to get the opportunities.
But that's where you want your striker to be.
Injured. Exactly. Last season when Luis was injured, Diaz was injured, excuse me, you did see Darwin play on the left quite a bit.
On the left,
it'll be Salah, Darwin, and then Jota or Gakpo. But I think Darwin Núñez, he's going to be what he's brought to be, which is a number 9.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a good finisher from what I've seen. I do think he'll definitely get more goals, but I think he'll drop under his expected goals, personally.
Okay. I like it.
Yep.
And last one is
my guy, Sonny.
Everyone's guy. Everyone hates that he plays for Spurs. Everyone Spurs.
I want to put it out that this pick of mine is whether Kane stays or goes. And in fact, I think he's a better pick if Kane leaves.
I agree.
I think if Kane leaves, we actually move him up front and play Richarlison on the wing rather than the other way around.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow. Please elaborate. Wow.
Because
rude.
With Kane, we have a world-class finisher. And then I think the assumption is when Kane leaves, you buy another striker that's a world-class finisher. But we already have that in Son. We already have that. So I personally see it as if Kane did leave, we more likely buy a left winger and use Son up front. I think Son, especially if you look at, I know another reason I picked him as well, because last season he suffered from a very long sports hernia injury, which he had surgery for in the summer. Which is why last season I kept saying like something looks wrong. RJ, you kept pointing to Conte's tactics, but I was like, there's something else. It's not just tactics. I knew it wasn't just tactics. Like there was something off, which seems to be this injury. But I've not seen him play in preseason yet to see if he's back to his old self. But I just think that if that injury has passed and we play him, I just still think on the left wing, his one-on-one ability isn't like as top tier as it used to be, whereas his finishing still is. And I think
it got better.
Yeah, his finishing is fantastic, and I see us playing him in that number 9 role, running in behind, which is the way we need him to play under Andrew Postecoglou, and then having someone who's a bit better in one-on-one on the wing. So I think if Kane leaves, he becomes an even better option. But if Kane stays and he is on the wing, I still think he's an incredible. I'm surprised he's 5.5%, but I know that like in terms of price point, he's hard to get to. But I just think he's
that hard to get to as well. It's just it's more the fact that some people will have to sacrifice a Bruno Fernandes or a Rashford.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
Especially based on his last season.
That's the thing. I think this is last season's numbers. Like when you look at it, last season he got 10 goals and 6 assists, which for him, compared to the previous 2 where he got 23 goals and 10 assists, and before that 17 and 11, like you see a sharp drop off, and I think people are focusing on that. But the hope is that now he's had this surgery, he moves past his injury, and we see the old Son.
Well, what did I tell you, man? It's the hope that kills you.
You know what? Draft time like him as well. You know, next 3 fixtures, 4.7 average. Next 5 fixtures, 4.8 average. So they definitely see something there. And I didn't notice this. Is that 152 points for a poor season. Yeah. And now we're not judging it as a 12.5 million asset now. He's a 9 million asset. And he could break the game. Even though he's expensive, he could still break the game at 9 million because of what the man's done. You know, he got 16 returns in, I think he missed 3 games overall last season. Last season. So, 16 returns in 35 games for 9 million asset. This season, you'd be disappointed, but I don't see that happening. I think it will be 20 plus because the guy's world class. Yeah. And with Ange, your new manager, is that the way that the expansive football that he's going to play, I think Son is going to be at the end of a lot of it. And I've never thought about him playing up front, but I think it might be a dynamic front between him and Richarlison, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. Similar to what Jesus and Martinelli do with you guys.
Yeah. but
exactly.
obviously not as good. One thing we have to focus on when it comes to Son is
With a straight face, that was very good.
Ignore last
Yeah,
season.
you ruined it, by the way, Ray.
I don't know why he does that. I don't know why he loves to explain. Anyway, if you ignore 22-23, 152 points as a player is still great. But if you look at 21-22, 258 points, 2020-21, 228 points. Players like that don't just disappear. Unless your name is Fernando Torres. They don't just disappear. He will come back, and he will come back with fire. I hate that Son plays for Spurs. I hate it. I hate it because I love him as a player. I really do. He's such a good player. And if I could find a way to get him into the squad, or just it's the whole, like not bringing in a new player into the Premier League into your team straight away. Just because he had a bad season last year, and there's too many variables. He had a bad season last season. New manager, and he's just come back from injury. And if Kane stays or not, it's just
Let
me just.
There's a lot of variables,
but he is someone that's on the watch list 100%. Look at that: Brentford, Man United, Bournemouth.
Those fixtures wouldn't fear me if I owned Son, from what I've seen. And I think for me with Son, it actually doesn't matter if Kane goes or stays. I think if
I think that's the main point.
Yeah, that as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
definitely.
Just doesn't matter.
All right, you man. Let's go into our drafts and finish.
Let's pick these things apart, man.
Let's finish up because I ain't seen Ray's draft yet. I've seen Law's because we all send us up to Ray, and Ray keeps his one to himself.
Yeah, nice and quiet. You're laughing. You used to do that as well, man. You used to do that when we used to post our team.
Shut up.
You used to do that as well. So don't choke up too much. Right?
He had the goalpost move. Nice one, Law.
I think I didn't see that.
So I made a couple changes. And I really like this squad. I brought Morris in as well.
Read your team out, please, for the audio.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I've got Steele in goal. John Stones, Estupinian, Trent, Alexander, Arnold. I brought him in. Timber still there. Saka, Diaz, Bruno Fernandes, Matoma, Haaland, and Gabriel Jesus. Areola on the bench. Morris, Bell, and how do you pronounce his name? I don't want to butcher it.
Chukwuemeka.
Sorry, say again.
Chukwuemeka.
Yeah, I think he's right. Yeah.
Yeah. What? I don't know if he said that, but I'm gonna take it.
I just said it as quickly as possible.
Yeah. But it looks like from the preseason that he's gonna be in that midfield, and he's gonna be.
Unless they buy someone, I think he starts. Yeah,
he starts at 4.5 million. I really wanted to try get Nicholas Jackson in, but at the moment I can't justify a 7 million striker that's young in the new team, and whether he's gonna start or not. But this team, I feel like it's really got a very good balance, and it's expected 58 points, and that's not including Timber because they've got no points on Timber at all. Because if that was Ben White there, that would be like 64.
And you got 1 million in the bank.
Oh yeah, and I got 1 million in the bank.
Strong.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry, I forgot about that. With the 1 million though, I'll be honest, it's probably going to be 0.5. It's, to be honest, 90% going to be 0.5 in the bank because I'm probably going to change Steele to nah. Had to.
You wanted someone to finish it, innit?
No. That don't mean it dodgy. You have to get the right key and all that stuff. No. But yeah, it's probably going to be Onana in goal. Just because United have great fixtures. And he's a
defensively, they were good. They were good last year as well. Defensively,
he's a great goalkeeper.
Yeah,
so
I have no doubt.
Why not? Especially after Ten Hag. Yeah, I'll probably bring in Onana at 5 million. So it'll be 0.5 in the bank, which was the original plan, to have 0.5 in the bank. Just so anything goes wrong or anything new, I see that I can change up my squad a little bit. I really like my midfield. I really like my up front. Well, Jesus, to be honest, I went for him because of the effective ownership in our fixtures.
Yeah.
Same.
but I really wanted Isaac or Wilson. But yeah, man.
This is what you can do with a 4-4-2. You know, you can spread it so well and still have top assets from top teams.
You prefer this
know,
one, innit? You
that's-
prefer this draft, don't you?
I've
To my last week.
preferred. I've liked a 4-4-2 the whole
No,
time, but
Ray.
never really stuck with
No,
one.
Ray. You prefer this draft of mine to last week's draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Because if you've taken out Embuemo for example, and you could switch him to a Stones.
Yeah.
And one thing about Stones is I'm confident he's going to start a lot of the games because of
Yeah,
the
same.
position he plays. And we've mentioned it before, just having Haaland is not enough really, because in regards to if you're expecting anything from Man City assets, you need to get a second one in. And the consensus I've seen is either go for Foden or go for Stones. And the thing about Stones is I think there's less competition
Yep.
and less risk compared to Foden, where 4 players can play the position he does.
Yeah.
And again, you've got great balance in the squad from what I've seen. And again, you can actually move, isn't it? You can hop on and hop off as you please.
Yeah. And also, last point of what you're saying about there's so many players. Don't forget, their manager is Pep Guardiola, and he loves to play roulette.
Yeah.
And he
what you're doing with this.
He could be on the greatest form in his life.
Yeah.
Just take him out.
Ballon d'Or form, Ballon d'Or form, and then just drop the next game. Not even in the squad.
But yeah, so this I'm very happy with this draft, and I thought I'd look at it and be like, I ain't changed this. But at the moment, the worst thing I think I'm looking at is Luis Diaz, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with that.
Last season, I did ask you the question: is that do you think you're just taking him to cover Liverpool? And last week you said yes. Do you still feel that way, or do you genuinely feel okay? Diaz is the guy that
so you said it was to cover Salah more than Liverpool. So
no, to cover
because last week
attack.
he was the only Liverpool you had. He didn't even have Trent last week, so you were just covering Liverpool.
Yeah. So no, I like Diaz. I feel like ever since Diaz joined Liverpool, he's been a problem.
Yeah, and last season you started Diaz instead of Salah, innit?
Yeah,
I think now he's fully fit, and with Firmino going and him coming off that injury season, it's like, all right, we're back. Let's go again. And he's looked good in the preseason too. So yeah, I actually think it's going to be I think he's going to do better than Nunes, to be honest. So yeah, man.
Awesome.
That's good.
So myself, it's Onana, Trent, Estepinian, Gabriel, Embuemo, Mitoma, Foden, Rashford, Saka, Haaland and Jesus. On the bench, Areola, Rico Henry, Bayer and Archer. 0 in the bank, expected points 61. Major changes are Onana and Foden have come in for, at the time, I think it was Pickford and Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, you're double up. I didn't like that, to be honest. I prefer this. Yeah. I didn't like the Rashford and Bruno.
Yeah, I felt it was a bit overkill. I think I love my defense. I think I'm going to keep this. Because they're all great value. And again, top teams. However, funny that I was thinking about Stones, and when I saw your draft as well, I was just like, Stones just looks so good in an FPL draft. And rather than Jesus and Foden, I'm thinking Darwin and Martinelli, because Martinelli is always in those positions. Even in preseason, Martinelli has been in those positions. Jesus is the one doing more of the legwork.
I'd say stay here rather than go Saka and Martinelli, because I feel like Saka is this is gonna be his not. because he always plays well in it. But this is
You
going
can
to
say
be
the same about
the biggest
Martinelli, what you're
biggest
saying
standout
here.
for
You know
me.
that.
Sorry.
You could say the same about Martinelli with what you're saying. Without
I
painting a
guess,
narrative.
but I think with Saka, he's now got Timber behind him, and I just feel like with a slightly better right back than White, and that's just personal opinion right now. I just think you're going to get a lot more from Saka, plus also having Rice and hopefully Partey together. That frees up Odegaard, including Martinelli. It just frees up our attackers more, and I just feel Saka's going to have an amazing season. I think Saka's going to go crazy this season.
But the argument for this is Jesus or Martinelli.
Yeah, I also think Jesus is going to be better because he's coming off injuries, and I feel like Martinelli's got more rotation around him. So Trossard, Smith Rowe. I just think that maybe Martinelli, he's gonna do well. I just think Saka and Jesus is the better way to go right now. And also, it's not just that Martinelli's not gonna do well. But Martinelli's what, 8?
Yeah, he's 8. Yeah.
He's 8.
Same price.
Foden's
Exact same
7.5.
price. No, he's
Sorry?
8.
He's 8, yeah. And then
He's 8.
Foden's 7.5. Do I think Martinelli's gonna do that much better than Foden? No.
No, but I'm combining it. Jesus versus Jesus and Foden versus Darwin and Martinelli.
Yeah.
Who do you think will do better initially?
I think Foden and Jesus will do better than Martinelli and Darwin. Definitely.
I'm on the Martinelli Darwin.
If you put it like that, then I definitely go Foden Jesus. But if you put it directly on Martinelli Foden, it's like okay. But Foden and Jesus versus Martinelli and Nunes, I think that your draft right now is definitely the better two.
No.
I prefer the other one. I prefer Martinelli Darwin to Foden.
Oh,
Jesus.
Hello.
Yeah, I do. I think Foden's much like. I think as you were talking about Martinelli's rotation, I think Foden's is even higher. Especially, I think Pep came out today and said that like De Bruyne is nearly like ready to be back. So I don't like you might get a couple games out of him. Then all of a sudden the rotation starts again. You're scrambling to get him out, and then and then like we discussed before, I think Darwin's the main starter, and I think Jesus and Darwin are quite similar in terms of like wastefulness. I think Jesus is probably more likely to get assists. So I see them quite similar. So I think like the main thing is between Martinelli and Foden, and I see Martinelli up above Foden.
Yeah.
So good luck with that, Ray.
Thanks, guys.
You gonna stay on this? We'll see.
Let's go to Law.
Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
I just, do you know what it was? I went through a phase of just wanting to see different things. So I tried one with Haaland and Salah in it. I tried one with, as you said right before, Haaland, Salah and Trent, which was just like an abysmal team. And then I landed up on this 3-4-3 and kind of stuck with it for a little while.
Wonderful. Please read it out.
Yeah, so I've got Onana in goal. In defense, I have Stones, Estupiñán, and Gabriel. Midfield, Saka, Rashford, Son, and Matoma. And up front, Darwin, Haaland, and Jesus.
I like it, Law.
Me too.
On the bench,
I've got 0.5 in the bank.
0.5 in the bank.
My team, I've looked at Ray's team, but your team I'm looking at is the first team I looked at. Like, how is he affording all these players and got 0.5 in the bank? No, seriously. I see you got 4 million players and a 4 million goalie, but
it's the bench. So my bench is Areola, Baldock, Bell, and I don't even know who the third sub is.
Riederveld.
Yeah, from Crystal Palace. Yeah,
that's actually a very good balance. And also, you could probably get more value. You don't actually have to go Darwin.
No, I don't. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and you can get like you could, for example, you could actually make Matoma Bruno Fernandes or Martinelli and just bring Darwin down, and you still have quite a strong formation. It's quite worrying, actually.
Yeah, that's the reason I have this team is simply because I don't have Trent.
And if you go down to 4. If you go 4.5 to, if you turn to Darwin into a 4.5, you could have Trent in this team.
I love this team.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it. I mean, that 0.5 easily make Baldock into Henry, for example.
Yeah.
Damn.
But it just shows that because I feel all three of us are confident that Darwin is definitely going to be the preferred front number 9, is that you don't need Trent based on that.
Based on that, exactly. That's the thinking concept I was going for. Yeah,
exactly. Because also, like, if you're like, you know what, I prefer Martinelli over Jesus. Boom, 3-5-2, easy. And that 3-5-2 looks phenomenal.
I love you, douchebag. Yeah, but you are the ones that made me look at Trent, and now you're doing this whole time. It's like, what?
And do you know what made me switch off Trent? And maybe I shouldn't like pay too much attention to it, but I've seen both their 2 preseason friendlies, and Trent was playing deep number 6 rather than the inverted fullback.
Mm-hmm.
So that was since our pod. So then after that, that's when I started looking at drafts without him.
Well, he got a couple of assists though, didn't he? From that position.
Has he?
I don't know. I don't think so.
But since then, Darwin has been starting and performing.
Yeah.
That's so funny though.
That's what made me look up. Yeah, I know. That's what made me look like away from it. Was just that if to have an 8 million, like if he was playing the inverted role like he was before, where he's got the room to roam forward. Obviously, if they buy a number 6 and he goes back to that position, then my draft probably changes, bringing him back in. Because I think in that position he's essential.
Okay,
so playing the number 6, then I don't know.
That's interesting.
Back to my problem then. Last week's problem. Are you then worried that you won't be able to get back to him if he starts doing well?
Yeah, we'll take a hit. So either Darwin or Jesus would have to come down. So then I could do probably a 4-4-2.
Yeah, so you'd have to
I'd have to take a hit. Yeah. Or wait a week and.
But the question has been is if Stone starts the first 3 games, because DraftHound's brilliant here is that they, when you select your team, they give the projections that they have for the 3 games under the asset. So, we can nicely see it. Is that if Stone starts all 3 games and Trent starts all 3 games, I think Stones will get more points. I personally feel Stones will get more points. I personally feel that because of the fixtures as well.
I also feel they can get more goals as well.
And of course, Man City are better. They're the best defense in the league, in my opinion. Whilst Liverpool are away to Chelsea and is it Newcastle in those 3 games?
Chelsea,
and
Bournemouth, and Newcastle.
Yeah. So on paper, if Stone starts, because Estupiñán and Gabriel, or Estupiñán and Arsenal defender, everyone's pretty much having, isn't it? It's very much like Stones versus Trent and what you could do with that money. And if you go with Stones and he starts all 3 of the games, I think he'll score more points than Trent.
Yeah.
And if Darwin starts all 3 games, I think he'll return similarly to what Trent will.
Nice.
That's the thought process, having Darwin and taking Trent out.
Yeah, man.
Are we not feeling Mbeumo? Because even myself, even though I've shared, he's in my draft at the moment.
No, I still like Mbeumo.
No, I like him. I do.
I still like him. I just couldn't get more than 6.5. I do like Mbeumo.
I mean, your front 7 are like outrageous. I mean, Sonny.
Yeah.
Darwin, Haaland, Jesus, Son, Rashford, Saka, Mitoma. Yeah, that's pretty decent, though. I hate to admit it. Yeah. So what? Is no one tempted by Kane?
I mean, you got the rumors. You want certainty that he's going to stay. Do you know what I mean? Before you start throwing in drafts with Kane, and I guess also what we spoke about before is that haul potential. Whereas like he was consistent last year, but the hauls weren't there, and I guess we're always chasing the hauls. So
before the season starts, we're gonna know if he's playing or not. So
Potentially not. I mean, season starts in August. The window shuts in September, innit? So
You don't think it'll
Might
be wrapped
not.
up by then?
I generally don't know. I personally believe like Levy's holding out for not a new contract, but a contract extension. So I reckon it could go right to. It should be resolved soon because I think it's complete. Like the fact that we're trying to do a rebuild and all anyone's talking about is Kane. It needs to be resolved straight away. But I don't
And it's
think
the
it
first
will
time
be.
either.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, and then he himself isn't like saying anything. Like I think if he came out and said I want to leave, it would just make the process easier.
Yeah, but he'll never
being
say
quiet.
that. He has too much respect and love for
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
What about Madison? I mean, neither of us have had him or even spoken about him.
Law had
Yes.
him. Law
Yeah, I had him in the
once.
first one. No, the first
Yeah,
one I
you
had
did.
Son, but I said I was going to switch to Madison. I think he's an option. I do think he's an option, but I just think like at that price point, there's so many other people.
Really?
But
I'll put him
Yeah.
as top 3 in 7.5.
yeah, I guess. But then you look at his fixture. So like at 7.5 feels if you've got the Brighton Essence who've got great fixtures. You've got
So I
Diaz.
was meaning specifically 7.5.
Oh yeah,
My bad.
yeah. All right, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right,
I
you're
mean, like within that range, there's so many people, and then nobody's seen him play with Spurs before as well. And like I said, I think the biggest thing with Spurs is everyone wants to wait till they know what's going on with Kane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cold. Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's all unanimous. Everybody's on Haaland captain.
Yeah. I don't think that's gonna change.
Once again, all those stats and that layouts of all our players, and that's got all the 3 fixtures, the 5 fixtures, the 7 fixtures of their expected points. That's all on Draft Hound. We'll have the link in the bio, so make sure you click that, go there, and you get all the information that we're getting as well. You man, as you know, you can catch me on Twitter. My handle is @_only1RJ.
And mine is @only1_law.
And I'm @Ray_Cure. So guys, here's something. I've seen on the Twitter sphere some individuals entertain not starting with Haaland.
When you say individuals, do you mean the FPL way?
Yeah, those are one.
Talk to me. That is wild. That's wild. No Haaland.
Yeah. And when you break down the thread, I can't do it. I can't do it. But I can understand the
Why?
logic
The thought process.
and the
What is
thought
the
process.
is the concept that the spread funds makes up for the points
That
that
he
you
will
lose
get.
out on with one person?
It's have Salah for the first 2 game weeks and then switch to Haaland in game week 3.
Oh, so similar to last season with the Kane Haaland switch is okay.
The main, I think the main part of it is that you get Salah against Bournemouth. That's the main bit. But if Salah blanks against Bournemouth,
That was so funny. Like last season when we all captained him.
Yeah, we just people learned. I feel like the lesson's been learned. Just don't bet against him. It's just a beast. It's just like
you know that saying, F about you gonna find out.
Also, I don't like booking in transfers.
Especially this early.
Beginning of the season. I mean, come on. You know someone's gonna get injured. You know, Chilwell.
It burnt me last season. I tried it last season. It did not work. So I won't be trying it again now.
Also, before we finish up, Ray made a boo-boo. But I don't blame him, okay? I fully understand where this boo-boo came from. So, VAR. With the... It's all right, man. So, they're not introducing the new AI system into the Premier League where we're using that transparent shield.
No.
Now, I know what you saw. So I fully get it, and I back you on this. So the way they do that transparent shield is with extra cameras. So they bring in extra cameras so they can build that shield. So what the Premier League is actually doing is they're bringing in 2 or 3 more cameras for VAR. So we're staying on the same look of it, but there's more cameras because last season...
more angles.
There's more angles. Because last season, I think there was 2 occasions or 3 occasions where players were in blind spots or they weren't able to get a complete angle of the play. So they've introduced more cameras, which coincides with the transparent barrier. So I fully get where it is. So we definitely getting more cameras for VAR. It's just we're sticking to the old lines for now. So yeah, smooth. That's why I call it a boo boo. They ain't gonna get you too much. This ain't that bad. Yeah, man. But guys, I'm looking forward to see what your draft look like next week.
Yeah. See how switched up it is.
Mm-hmm. We're also going to have an extra draft in there as well. I'm going to let you not know when we see you next week that you're going to know whose draft that is, but next week's going to be an interesting one. And yeah, man, listen, guys, I also have to talk about the engagement has been brilliant. I'd love to say it. The sharing, the views. I always say we're babies in this game, and you guys have been so great this season already. For the first episode back on YouTube, the response has been amazing. We heard all your feedback, and we're trying to bring everything in that you're asking for. So thank you so much for that. And I want more. So please,
fully concur, man. Thank you, everyone.
Keep doing it. We're loving it. And you guys, everyone, hit us up. If you don't want to get us personally, you can hit us on the email, onlyonebunnetspoint@gmail.com. You see it right down there. And next week, boy. Yeah, I hope I don't change my draft too much, but
yeah, hopefully. Yeah. So I'm gonna be honest. I thought I was gonna get rinsed today. I thought 3-4-3. They're gonna come after me, but no, I'm pretty happy.
Got the best one.
Lord, I think you got the best draft.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you got the best draft. Honestly, that's the niceness you're gonna get out of me. Okay, so we've been your host. My name is RJ.
I'm Law.
And my name is Ray.
Thanks everyone for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.